Have you ever stopped to wonder, why is the crime rate in the US so high? It's a question that has puzzled sociologists, criminologists, and the general public alike for decades. Let's delve into this enigma, shall we? The United States, a land of opportunity and dreams, unfortunately, also has a darker side: a high crime rate. The current crime rate, while not reaching the heights of the early 1990s, is still a cause for concern. In fact, despite advancements in technology and increased law enforcement efforts, crime remains a persistent issue in our society. Why, you may ask? Well, the answer lies in a complex web of factors. Let's start with poverty. It's an uncomfortable truth that poverty and crime often go hand in hand. The lack of resources and opportunities can drive individuals towards illicit activities as a means of survival. The struggle to escape the clutches of poverty often becomes a breeding ground for criminal behavior. Next, we have drug addiction. The United States is grappling with an opioid crisis that has reached epidemic proportions. This crisis fuels a significant portion of criminal activity, with addicts often resorting to crime to feed their habits. Addictions not only ruin individual lives, but also contribute to the overall crime rate. Then there's the issue of education, or rather the lack of it. A lack of education can limit job prospects, pushing individuals towards crime. Research has consistently shown a correlation between low education levels and high crime rates. Finally, we cannot overlook the systemic issues within our own criminal justice system. The system, designed to deter crime, often ends up perpetuating it. The punitive nature of the system, combined with a lack of rehabilitation programs, means that many individuals leave prison only to return to a life of crime. Understanding the root causes of crime is the first step to finding a solution. As we delve deeper into this topic in the upcoming scenes, we'll discuss these issues in more detail and explore potential solutions to this pressing problem. So stay tuned as we continue to unravel the crime question. Take the case of John, a young man from a low-income neighborhood. Born into a world where opportunities seemed as scarce as water in the desert, John's story is a stark illustration of the entwined relationship between poverty and crime. From the early age of 12, John found himself embroiled in petty crime. His family's struggle to put food on the table catapulted him into a world where survival took precedence over schoolwork. His neighborhood, a concrete jungle of desperation and despair, became his classroom, where he learned not algebra or history, but the harsh lessons of street survival. Falling into the cycle of crime wasn't a choice for John, rather a grim necessity. Poverty, like a relentless taskmaster, drove him into the arms of crime. It's a path many tread, not out of desire but desperation. Now imagine John, older, wiser, yearning for a way out. But the chains of his past are not easily broken. A criminal record becomes a scarlet letter, warding off potential employers. The lack of a proper education further limits his options. Each rejection pushes him back into the familiar, back into crime. This is the vicious cycle of poverty and crime. Poverty breeds desperation, desperation breeds crime, and crime, in turn, deepens poverty. It's a whirlpool that pulls individuals like John deeper into its vortex with every passing day. Breaking free from this cycle is not easy. It requires resources, support, and opportunities that are often scarce in low-income neighborhoods. It requires societal intervention, policy changes, and a concerted effort to provide equal opportunities for all, regardless of their socio-economic status. John's story is not unique. There are millions of individuals trapped in the same cycle of poverty and crime. It's a cycle that continues to spin, unchecked and unchallenged. A wheel of misfortune that grinds down the hopes and dreams of countless individuals who, like John, yearn for a way out. Now consider Maria, a mother and former drug addict. Maria, like many others, found herself ensnared in the grip of drug addiction. She wasn't always an addict. She was once a vibrant woman, full of life and dreams. But one wrong turn, a single poor decision, and suddenly she found herself spiraling down a path of self-destruction. Drug addiction is a brutal beast. It's not just about the physical dependence. It's the mental compulsion, the desperate need for that next fix that drives individuals like Maria to unimaginable lengths. It's a desperation that often leads to criminal activities, a means to an end, a way to feed the insatiable beast. Maria began to steal. Small things at first, but as her addiction worsened, so did her crimes. She was caught, charged and sentenced. It's a common tale, one that echoes through the halls of prisons across America. Maria, a mother, a daughter, a human being, was reduced to a statistic in the annals of crime. But the link between drug addiction and crime is not a simple cause and effect relationship. It's a complex web of societal issues, lack of support, and inadequate rehabilitation programs. The war on drugs has often focused on punishment rather than prevention, on incarceration rather than rehabilitation. Maria needed help, not handcuffs. She needed a way out of her addiction, a path to recovery. And this is where effective drug rehabilitation programs come into play. They provide the support, the therapy, the medical intervention necessary to help individuals break free from the chains of addiction. Rehabilitation programs are not a quick fix. They are a long-term commitment. They require patience, dedication, and a willingness to change. But they offer hope, a chance for individuals like Maria to reclaim their lives and break free from the cycle of crime and addiction. Maria's struggle with addiction illustrates how drugs can lead to crime, affecting not only the individual but also their family and community. And it underscores the importance of providing effective support and drug rehabilitation programs to those caught in the grip of addiction. Then there's Michael, a man who spent years in prison for a minor offense. The story of Michael is not unique. It's unfortunately commonplace in our broken criminal justice system. Michael was caught in possession of a small amount of illicit substances. Instead of receiving help for his addiction, he was sentenced to a decade behind bars, a punishment far outweighing his crime. The system that was supposed to reform him instead hardened him. Prison became a university of crime for Michael. It taught him how to survive in a world where the rule of law is replaced by the law of the jungle. Upon release, he was thrust back into society with a criminal record that haunted every job application, every lease agreement, every opportunity for a fresh start. Imagine, if you will, stepping into Michael's shoes, a world where every door is shut, where every opportunity is out of reach, where you are forever branded as a criminal, regardless of your desire to change. This is the reality for countless individuals released from our prisons each year. Our criminal justice system seems to be more focused on punishment than on rehabilitation. It's a system that often forgets about the human element, about the potential for change and redemption. It's a system that feeds into a cycle of crime rather than breaking it. The lengthy sentences for minor offences, the lack of support upon release, the challenges in reintegration, these are systemic issues that exacerbate crime rather than deter it. Instead of preventing individuals from returning to crime, our system often leaves them with no other choice. Michael's story is a stark reminder of the flaws within our criminal justice system. It's a call to action for us to rethink our approach to crime and punishment, to focus more on rehabilitation and less on retribution. Because as it stands, our system is not just failing individuals like Michael, it's failing all of us. Michael's story sheds light on the flaws in our criminal justice system that contribute to the high crime rate. So, what can you do to help solve the crime problem in the US? The answer lies in our collective efforts. To bring about a significant reduction in crime, we need to focus on the root causes and not just the symptoms. One of the most effective ways is to advocate for policy reform. This could involve changes in drug policies, sentencing laws, or prison reforms. We need policies that focus on rehabilitation rather than punishment, addressing the root causes of crime rather than the symptoms. But policy change alone is not enough. We also need to support education and job training programs in low-income communities. Education is one of the most potent tools we have to break the cycle of poverty and crime. By providing access to quality education and job training, we give individuals the opportunity to lift themselves out of poverty, reducing the likelihood of them turning to crime. In the same vein, volunteering with drug rehabilitation centers can also make a significant difference. Drug addiction is a major factor in crime, and by helping people overcome their addictions, we can help them break free from the cycle of criminal activity. Now you might be thinking, but I'm just one person. What difference can I really make? The truth is, every action counts. Whether it's writing a letter to your local representative advocating for policy reform, donating to an educational program in a low-income community, or giving your time to a drug rehabilitation center, your actions can make a real difference. Remember, change doesn't happen overnight. It requires patience, persistence, and a collective effort. But with every action we take, we're one step closer to creating a safer, more just society. So let's get involved. Let's use our voices, our resources, and our time to fight against crime. Let's work together to build a society in which everyone, regardless of their background or circumstances, has the opportunity to thrive. Every action, no matter how small, can make a difference in the fight against crime. So start today and help make the US a safer place for everyone.